year of upsets and resets. Globally, it was dominated by political news. Locally, demonetization captured all the good, bad and ugly headlines. So what is in store for 2017? More volatility or revival in fortunes? To answer that, I have the perfect guest, someone who can easily be called as the ultimate authority on Indian stock markets. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala of Rare Enterprises, India's most loved and admired investor. And the world loves him for his intellect, and the world also admires him for his benevolence. Mr. Jhunjhunwala, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for your kind words. I hope I can live up to them. And Happy New Year to you and all viewers and all Indians, everybody.
Thank you very much. Wish you the very same to you and your family.
Thank you.
Now, 2016, we've managed to break out from the past. The political mandate, at least at global level, has been unprecedented. So do you think we should prepare ourselves for a different and a new world? Because historically we've seen that political policies, they tend to influence and impact economic policies.
See, I would tend to put that into two parts. This year has been the last 2 months. We saw, the election of Trump, a major sort of assumed bottoming out of interest rates in America, and the demonetization, the other policy of the government. I personally feel the two reasons why markets went down in October, November, December. One was demonetization, one was the election of Trump and the consequent expectation of higher fiscal deficits and higher inflation in America and consequently higher interest rates. I personally think, when demonetization came, it came as a shock. And now as the time to give the money is gone, I think things will normalize far, far faster than what people are expecting. I think the shock has made everybody very hyperbolic about what the consequences will be. Also, I think, when we get a shock, we get anything which is unexpected, the initial reaction is very, very frightening. But as time passes, it washes away. Also, I think the market has already, priced in the worst for the quarter, right? And I don't see any reason how the common man is affected. The common consumer economy is not affected. I mean, the person who's buying a motorcycle or building a small house or anything. So what I personally feel is that third quarter results, however bad their market is already priced in them up. The fourth quarter, I think there will be a resurgence of demand, right? And I think fourth quarter performance is going to be very good. And the commentary which managements will give along with the third quarter results, in my personal opinion, will also be quite healthy. Also, I feel that the government is very much concerned about the reaction to the market, the policies the market likes, doesn't like. Otherwise, there's no reason why Mr. Jaitley should come and clarify that there is no, proposal to tinker with the direct taxes. So I think we can, I don't know how much of tax relief, I'm not expecting much tax relief in the budget, but I'm not expecting anything which is going to be adverse on the market in the budget. Second thing I feel very, very important. See, we've seen so much of FI selling. And the primary reason for the FI selling has been the expectation that interest rates will go up, the dollar will strengthen. I don't know whether the dollar may strengthen eventually, but I think for now we will pause. And I think even the 10-year bond has gone from 1.6 to 2.6.
Yes.
Right? It's come back to 2.47. I think that there will at least be a correction in that moment. And I also think that the expectations of fiscal expansion by Trump are far-fetched. He will be appointed in July, he'll make a budget. In January, he'll make a budget up to July, then they'll plan the projects. All the expenditure is going to take 1.5 years. And I think markets' memories are very short. So I think even from there will be some abatement of FI selling. Fourth thing I feel is that, the way the market came back from 7,900. I see certain indicators. The first move should be such that it surprises everybody, right? And it went from 7,900 to 8,200 in just 3 trading days. And, it surprised everybody. There was no premium in the futures. So that also indicates that technically market is telling us it doesn't want to go down. So on the basis of, I think, a far faster recovery from the effects of demonetization that the market expects, a good fourth quarter performance, a friendly budget. I won't say, I don't expect the tax reduction that people are expecting, but a friendly budget, which is indicated by the government's concern on market reaction to Prime Minister's statement, and an abatement of FI selling, because I think the Trumponomics effect will at least temporarily weather out. So I feel market has reversed itself. Now how much will go up, what will go up is difficult to predict. But I think surely markets made some kind of a bottom.
So I'm going to take the clock back to our last conversation, August 2016, and you made a point that August 2016 was like May or June 2003 when a new bull market cycle has started.
Right.
Given that world has been slightly shaky, there is a little bit of drop in confidence. Your prediction of a long-term bull market is still intact.
See, the long-term bull market in India is going to be the consequence of economic growth, and the consequence of the fact that a lot of Indian money savings is still, not coming into equity. I think one of the, I was just reading today that the difference between India's share of world GDP and India's share of world market cap is the highest since it was in 2003. We have 2.93% of world GDP and 2.23%, through this report in the Mint, 2.3% of market cap, right? There has been no profit growth, or there has been very, very marginal profit growth in the last 3-4 years. Government has taken various steps, is taking various steps to try and elevate economic growth. I have no doubt it could still take time. But I think we could be I have been wrong earlier, I could be wrong again. But to my mind, I will be bullish.
So in terms of your commitment levels, given it's a Trump victory, there is a Brexit, there is demonetization, earnings will be delayed, you've not lightened your commitment levels, your commitment towards equity stays intact.
Well, that's the only thing I know in life, and I want to make a disclosure. I have purchased in the markets, I have purchased on margin. So whatever I may say, please take with a pinch of salt. I'm interested in everything that I'm seeing.
Of course. But if I look at the aggregate picture, markets were supposed to fall, or global markets were supposed to fall after Brexit. They were supposed to crash after Trump. That is not happening. So are you a bit puzzled that the market reaction to event is not moving as per history?
See, I think the reason why international markets don't fall essentially is interest rates. If you increase the interest rates by 25, that's what I feel that the effect of Trumponomics. She has said that from an earlier statement, Yellen has said that they will increase interest rates by 25 basis points extra by 2019. Yeah. What is 25 basis points? So I think personally that as long as there is no crisis of confidence in the Western world and in the developed countries or the developing world, and interest rates don't go up substantially, it will be very difficult for world markets to go down. Because what are the alternatives? You have, as long as the yield on the Dow and the S&P 500, is double or treble the interest rates, equity is going to be a favored investment.
So you don't buy this popular argument, which is that bond market, the bull market in bond is over, money will come out of emerging markets, it will go to developed markets and especially US market?
See, I don't say that it will not happen, but I think it will surely pause. I can't say what will happen over 1 year or 2 years, but I think the first leg of that move is over, and there is going to be a correction to that. And I don't think, Chris Wood, Jim Rogers, all of them were predicting that the QE will start. Right? So I won't go to that extreme, but I'm not of the opinion that you are not going to be able to raise interest rates much.
Let me take a leaf off our earlier conversation, and in the past you've said that markets can handle everything and anything, but they cannot handle rise in interest rates. That acts like a gravity. Now globally the interest rate regime is changing. Negative interest rates are part of history. Interest rates may go up gradually, but the cost of capital is likely to move higher.
See, but how much higher?
Okay.
Today you have US interest rate is 0.5, 0.75. How much will it go? 1, 1.5, 1.75? Still the yields will be higher. So I don't see the real danger will be when inflation comes.
Okay.
We have to look for signs of inflation. I mean, today, Mr. Trump will come, he will plan the, infrastructure spending. He'll spend after 14, 15 months, and then after 15 months, it'll take 1 year for the inflation to come. So, yes, still, I think that's all, anticipation, which is going to take a lot of time.
So it is like a Modi rally, what we saw in 2014. The minute Prime Minister Modi got elected, markets, they went up first because of hope and hype, then realization kicked in.
How in 2014 all the railway stocks and the defense stocks all went up. I think it may or may not happen, but it's not going to happen at the pace and in the time period which people are thinking.
Now, I'm not looking for a headline from you. I will not put words in your mouth, but what you mentioned that demonetization, markets are getting unnecessarily worried. So are you making a case that demonetization, the economic impact of demonetization will be very limited?
I think so. Well, see, according to me, demonetization has 3 effects. First, I think some of the biggest demonetized money was lying with ladies.
Yes.
Or lying with people where the money, see, businessmen don't keep cash because cash doesn't earn interest or doesn't earn anything, right? So this money which was lying dormant is going to come into banks, right? Once this money comes into banks, either it will be invested or it will be used. And then it will leave a trail. Second thing is that, a lot of this money will come into financial assets. Third thing I think, which was the afterthought of demonetization, also another thing I feel is, it will increase the desire to pay taxes. See, the journey the journey to shorten the shadow economy. It's a journey, it's not a destination. So every step has some effect. I think today we are a more law-abiding nation for tax payments than we were 20 years ago. And I'm sure that 10 years hence, 5 years hence, the evasion in taxes will be far lower than what it is today. So I think this was one important step in that journey. So I think a lot of dormant money coming into the system, leaving a trail, this creating a desire to pay taxes. People don't want problems. Yep. Let's say, I think if this can be accompanied with some moderation rates of tax, I think it could have a very, very, very good effect. And why will, to my common sense, see, it is an unprecedented move in history, nobody knows. But why will it not return to normalcy? Right? Today, 80% of the cars in India are bought on credit.
Yes.
Right? So they are not affected. You can still get the credit. So I see no reason why people will not. Maybe some very, very high item, luxurious items, right, may be affected. But I don't think there's going to be I think recovery is going to be far faster than people anticipate.
Well, let's take a break for the moment right now, and we'll just be back in 2 minutes. Well, in conversation with Mr. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala of Rare Enterprises. So, Mr. Jhunjhunwala, are you making a case that just like a year ago, we were discussing decline in commodity prices, how that will end the commodity producers, which would be disruptive in nature? In 2017 or by December 2017, markets would have moved on and demonetization would have been history?
Surely it's already history. I think the process of normalization, as soon as I think they are feeding 8 to 10,000 crores of money into the economy every day, and they already fed about 5.5 lakh crores. If they feed another 2-3 lakh crores, I think it's going to become normal. See, I don't see any reason why a man would not want to run his industry. The demand, I don't see any reason why demand will not come back. The malls were full, I'm told, in Christmas.
Yes.
So if demand comes back, then why will the producer not produce?
I'm going to ask about a aspect which has bothered market a year ago. It could be a concern going forward. Now, there was a thought that long-term taxation structure in India needs to be changed. I don't know whether this will happen in the budget or not. Nobody knows. But what I want to ask you is that can markets handle coming back of long-term taxes?
Well, that we will only know if it happens. But I don't think there's any case for long-term capital gain tax in India, because nowhere in the world, either you abolish STT. See, there is a myth that we are not paying tax in the stock market. First of all, we are paying dividend tax. Right, and then if your dividend income is more than 10 lakhs, you're paying 10% tax. So dividend is being taxed at the marginal rate of 33%. Right, and we are paying securities transaction tax. So either you abolish securities transaction tax and you impose long-term capital gains. Right. So as long as there's securities transaction, nowhere in the world is a tax on transaction and a capital gains both taken. And the purpose of securities transaction tax was to collect capital gains in a much easier manner. And today government gets, I think, 7,000-8,000 crores from 2 exchanges. There's no cost of administration. And I don't think that there is so much purchase of equity in India that government or so much profit in long-term capital. People don't invest in equity where is the capital gains. And I also think at the same time there is a need to encourage risk capital. So I think for these reasons, I don't see any reason. You abolish STT and you impose capital gains tax, no one minds it.
So that will not disturb the market?
We don't know. I don't know how the market will react. I can't predict.
But markets are not prepared for long-term taxation along with STT. Let me put it this way.
No, that is blatantly unfair.
Okay.
You can't have an STT and you can't have a long-term capital gains or tax.
Fair point. Before I get into some specifics about sectors and themes, this is a question which perhaps touches every saver, every investor in India. The alternates are not doing good. Real estate, we know, is not going anywhere. Gold prices have collapsed. Fixed deposit, if you're a senior citizen, you get a higher rate of return. Otherwise, the returns post-tax are nothing. So do you think now an average Indian who's not looked at equity should now be really re-looking at equity as an asset class? Because we know the benefits of investing in equities.
See, just as I said, the process to shorten to remove the shadow economy is a journey, not destination. The process of getting Indians to invest in equity is a journey, it's not a destination. And every year it's going up. And you turn a trigger, you have the Sensex, you have the Nifty go up 2 years, 15%, the money will be a flood. So I think, and the other alternate is becoming unviable is a very big reason why money should come into equity. And it's coming, I'm told, the SIPs now are 4,000 crores a month. And, mutual funds are attracting about 10,000 crores a month. That is how market has survived. It has absorbed, I think, 2 billion of foreigners selling.
Yes. So, is that the new normal now, that we should stop getting obsessed by FI flows or inflows or outflows, because domestic flows are strong? November, for example, you said, it was a bad month, it was a tricky month, yet the domestic, money saved the market from a free fall.
See, I am saying a lot of things which are taking time to happen, but I always had a feeling that the local money will overwhelm the FI money. That is slowly starting now. So I think that local money will come shortly.
You've always said that ultimately what bull markets they want earnings. Earnings will come when there is a resurgence in demand. So how far are we away from resurgence in demand? Because right now demand is a question mark.
No, the biggest problem for us, see, there is investment and there is consumption.
Yes.
And there are exports. See, in the consumption side, it's not so bad. The problem is we are not able to revive investment. We have to, investment, let's say 31-32% of GDP, we have to take it to 37-38% level. That's going to give the real kicker to growth. And I think part of it is the legacies or a bureaucracy. Part of it is the legacy of the bad loans. Part of it is the fact that, a lot of entrepreneurs have taken wrong advantage of the system, and therefore that is blocked a lot of things. We as an Indian, as a society, all of us are responsible. Because I'm not blaming anybody, because the fact that the investment cycle is not going up. But we got to take steps to revive the investment cycle. And that's what the government is trying to do.
6 months ago when we chatted, you said that consumers were expensive, they are great companies. It is time to relook at cyclicals and some domestic or inward-looking businesses. But now consumption stocks have also corrected, and Asian Paint has come down from 1100 to about 800. Is there a good entry point in consumer names now?
Well, I don't want to, give any example of you buy what you want, it's a buffet. But I think, if you ask me, it's a time to buy. I won't say what. But I feel bullish, because all indicators, I think the primary reason for FI selling will reverse. I think a lot of local money will come. The market's very, very bearish about the demonetization. which I think the revival in demand will be far, far faster, right? And fourth thing I feel is that market has shown technically, the weight has rebounded from 7,900 levels. I feel, if you have the money, buy.
Now, the index has been flat for last 2 years. 2015 was flat, 2016 was flat. Do you think 2017 could be the good year for index? Because, macro and markets, they rarely go together. It could be, markets could go up and macros could be poor.
I think if we have a good monsoon and, there is some revival of investment demand, then I think surely we should do well.
Do you think
what do you say?
No, do you think markets can make a new high in next 12 to 18 months?
But I'll be disappointed if they don't.
But can we go higher with this kind of earnings backdrop? I again come back to that broad question because, we've been anticipating a revival in earnings and that's not happened. And that may not happen for another 2-3 quarters.
Well, I don't know why it should not happen for the next 2-3 quarters. Right before demonetization, everybody was very bullish. The second quarter results were very good. And I don't think demonetization is going to give such a bad effect or a lasting effect to the economy.
You've always said that look at the mega trends, and the mega trend would be the impact of demonetization on the financial sector per se. Now, a lot of sectors will get re-rated, a lot of sectors will get derated within financial sector. Do you think there is a case for PSU banks to get re-rated? Suddenly they have deposits, their CASA is going higher, the ability to lend will go higher?
Well, I think the problems are deeper than the opportunities there. I think unless the Reserve Bank's latest report says the NPA situation will get worse next year.
So you still feel that the NPA problem for banks is not over?
Well, it's not fully known. See, first we should fully know the position. I know so many of corporates who are not going to pay and they're not classified as bad. So I think there could be opportunity. I could be wrong, but I as an investor would wait.
You've liked HFCs in the past, and you've said within the financial sector, I like HFCs. Now, there is a commitment towards push for low-cost housing. Interest rates will come down. Real estate prices will not go higher. Yet, HFC stocks have corrected. So, is this market giving opportunity there?
Well, I don't know. I'm an interested party, but they are well valued. There could be. See, we cannot say about as a sector. HFC is very, very bullish according to me. But that's one sector which is going to grow. And the biggest cost of the credit cost there is the lowest, right? So therefore, now which individual company to buy, not to buy, that I can't say. But I think as a sector that should do well.
So eventually, because of digitization and the impact on the financial sector, where do you think the change will happen within the financial sector?
The change will happen in the entire sector.
So private players will become better, NBFCs will become stronger, and PSUs will become weaker?
I don't say PSUs will, but that's happened everywhere. Wherever you see what happens, wherever the government has announced privatization, allowed private parties in all of whether industry, whether telecom, whether airlines, the private sector has taken market share.
So you see the same kind of phenomenon will obviously happen in the financial sector per se, which already is happening. Do you think this market is lacking any kind of a leadership pattern? Because every bull market has a distinct leader. It was IT to a large extent in 2000. It was cement in 92-93. It was infrastructure in the 2003-2008 bull market. Right now, there is no clear leadership or defined leadership in this market.
The NBFCs were leading earlier, right? And the mid caps in general had gone to stratospheric valuations. So I think leadership will emerge with time. Some of the public sector stocks are doing very well. So I don't see, it's good, that you don't have that kind of leadership where stocks get to absorb valuations and then you have a big fall. I think the real froth in the market is in the new issues. People forget that, Polaris is a good company. His issue came, I think, at 400. The price became 2,800 and then it was 70 rupees. So I think it's going to happen to some of these new issues. The kind of, I don't know 70, but the kind of valuations these people are getting, and I don't know how funds are buying them. I think there's going to be a disaster there.
We had a conversation, I think, in 2010, and that time you said the valuations are mouth-watering. Itna sasta mil raha hai, aisa lag raha hai, chori ka maal mil raha hai. What is your take on the aggregate valuations for them?
I don't think valuations are so cheap, by no measure. So you got to be very careful in what you buy.
So you are confident that demand will come back and that will lead to an EPS growth. You are not making a case that there could be scope for a further P expansion for the market.
Well, if earnings, see, low interest rates, earnings growth is always followed by P expansion.
Fair point.
Right? So let the earnings growth come, P expansion will come.
But PSU stocks, if I look at ONGC, HPCL, BPCL, to a large extent AIL, PFC, PSU stocks are suddenly showing, leadership patterns. Some of the stocks are at a 52-week high. Is this an endorsement that, Government of India will have a better balance sheet? They will be the winner in demonetization and time to align with PSU stocks again?
No, I don't think the demonetization and PSU stocks have got anything to do with each other. Right? I mean, the fact is that the real performers have been HPCL and BPCL.
Yeah.
Right? Because government has allowed them complete subsidy, unlike the past. So it's difficult to say about individual stocks.
I understand that. I'm not looking at trying to get into a stock specific conversation with you. I'm just trying to gauge your understanding of various sectors. But to understand the broader take on metals, metal index for 2016 gave a stunning comeback of 52%. Do you think that is just mean reversion or a new cycle has started in commodities?
I don't think. I think it's only a correction or a fall in the bear market. I'm not. I have been. I mean, last year I have been wrong, but I am not bullish on commodities at all. Because I don't think Chinese demand can come. And I think at this level of pricing or even pricing 20-25% below this, it's extremely profitable to produce commodities. So I am not very bullish on commodities.
If at all you think commodity prices will freeze on the higher level rather than...
I not only freeze, I think they will correct also.
Even crude?
Crude, I see maybe it may go to 60, but I don't think anything beyond that.
You made a point last time that IT companies are going through a cyclical slowdown. It is not a structural slowdown.
Right.
But in this financial year, Infosys has cut its guidance twice.
Right.
NASSCOM has cut the aggregate picture. If I talk to every company publicly and privately, they're trying to adjust to the new normal. They don't know how digitization would move. So is IT now a sector which will struggle for growth?
Well, cyclicality can last for a year or 2 years. If you have had 15 years of continuous growth, 20 years, right, cyclicality may slow you down for a year or two. See, because to my common, I don't have any figures, to my common mind, if there is going to be, automation, everything involves software. And I have confidence in Indian entrepreneurs that they will be able to adjust to the new normals.
Do you think Indian IT entrepreneurs, they should take higher risk now? They have a lot of cash on their books. That is denting their return on equity, return on capital. They are not going and acquiring small businesses. They are not buying growth. They are not becoming very aggressive in terms of their approach. Do you think they need to change that?
I think they might need to. I mean, they are very successful. Whom I have to advise them. But if you ask me, I think that would be a good idea to use the cash on the balance sheet and acquire and try and grow faster.
Last time when you mentioned pharma, you said that there was a cultural problem which is getting sorted. But I'm getting a sense that the FDA problem is becoming company specific. Sun Pharma, no problem. There's still problem at Halol. Lupin has come out clean. So do you think within pharma it's very divided now?
So see, we must go to the point where this problem started. These problems, see, it's not a new problem for Sun Pharma. Culturally, say 2 years, 3 years when these plants were being run and the people thought chalta hai, jugaad kar lenge. But that doesn't, so now companies have realized, boss, you got to be very careful. Chalta nahi hai yahan. So I think that is the cultural change which has come. So every company is far more vigilant of how far it is following the rules of FDA and very careful that they don't violate it.
So what is that Lupin is doing so correctly and others are doing incorrectly? Because Lupin was the last company to get into UA FDA scanner and the first one to come out.
Well, I don't know. You will have to ask the management. I am a last shareholder and I am right, but I don't know what they did. Maybe they are doing it with more emphasis, with more seriousness. I know they have an internal team which goes and inspects all the plants on surprise.
In your own words, I think this was a comment you made in 2009 and you said, I will not sell a single share of Titan if it does not become $1 billion investment for me. Now the business is getting challenged. The supply chain is getting challenged. We know that there's a big reset in the way how Indians would be buying jewelry. Are you worried about that investment?
I think the way Indians will buy jewelry will be in favor of Titan. I think not only will they will capture market share.
And why do you say that?
Because today people want to buy things legally. So, and they want to go to an organization which they feel is doing everything correctly. So I feel ultimately this demonetization is going to be a very, very big plus for Titan.
But it will be negative for a company like Delta. I mean, you will not use your credit card to, gamble.
Well, but who says? I mean, I'm told Delta is getting a lot of collection. I don't know. But you go to I'm told if you go to the casino, it's full. There's no place to stand. So people in the Western world, everybody gambles with a credit card only.
So you think the business model or the core proposition for Delta Corp, despite demonetization, is still intact?
Boss, bar, brothel, and casino. You open it and the public comes.
So, again, we go back to the entire demonetization impact, and again, you're emphasizing that market currently are getting unduly nervous about demonetization. Right. 3 months from now, demonetization and the effect of demonetization would be history.
I think so. Because to my mind, what has changed? Except that the money which was lying in almaras, in whosever name, in whatever way, the money which was lying in almaras is now in banks.
Given that there is a fight between two large shareholders within Tata Sons, as a minority shareholder, are you slightly worried? Because, both the Mistries and Tatas, they have their issues. But right now, it's a minority shareholder who is suffering because the Tata group of stocks are falling.
No, the stocks are not rising or falling because, and now what is the fight? Now he has resigned from all the companies. So I think the case against Tata Sons, like all cases in India, will go on for donkey years. The larger question or larger challenge is the succession. That after Ratan Tata, what? So how does the succession work? I think they will work out something. See, I feel one thing. The house of Tatas, for the good work they have done for this country and the charity that they have done, and the spirit of entrepreneurship has the blessings of God. And they are my role model in life. So ultimately, they will prevail.
So as a minority shareholder, you're not worried?
I am not worried.
But is Tata Motors as a stock testing your patience also? You're a patient person, but is this investment testing your patience?
Well, it is, but hope is eternal.
But why are markets not realizing the kind of earnings, cash flows, and the kind of agile business model they have? Maruti is getting a PE of something like 25, 26. Tata Motors is trading at a PE of sub 10. Global growth is making a comeback, and JLR business should fly.
Well, you ask the market, what can I say? I expect it to go up, but I mean, if the ultimately market is supreme, we cannot argue with it.
But your commitment towards Tata Motors is still intact.
It is there.
You were bullish on aviation. You were bearish on crude. Aviation is growing, but numbers are not coming. What is the mystery with some of these airline companies?
It's not that numbers are not coming. Actually, I think what happened is that when Indigo came out with this issue, it came out at its peakest earnings. If you look at absolute terms and if you look at the quality of profits Indigo has, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's 12, 13 P for a company which generates more cash than its profits. Or as much, who pays out 70-80%. So I think that's where I went a little wrong in my judgment, is that it was the peakest profits. So the valuation at which it came was very high, really. And we thought that this earnings will continue to grow. But I think, I won't be bearish.
On aviation and on Indigo both?
No, because I personally feel that Indigo in the same equity, see in my experience when a company is able to expand its business without raising equity, and there's no reason why Indigo will raise equity. It will, in 5 years hence, it will be a company 3 times its size with the same equity. And I'm an interested party, I have an investment in Indigo.
Of course. I know you hate these comparisons, but the good old comparison is that Buffett has made 99% of its entire net worth after he turned 60. You're not 60, so can I say the best of RJ is yet to come?
Hopefully, I don't know. I would say hopefully so.
But
I can tell you one thing, that I have not had a very good last year, and I am not personally satisfied with my performance of the last 2 years.
So how are you planning to change that? Because you will not sell your core holdings.
I'm planning to work. I think I'd become too lazy and taking things too much for granted. And I think whatever success I had has made me, made me lose my peronia. I think I need to work harder and search harder and be more hunger for success. Because when I came to the market, I was hungry for success. But then after earning whatever I could, I thought I would start taking things easy. I think I need to work harder and be more hungry for success.
So will you be more active in terms of your portfolio churn and trading as well now in 2017?
I myself don't know what I'll be doing.
But in terms of your core holdings, I don't think you would like to change your core holdings, right?
Who knows what I'll do? I myself don't know.
But as of now, you are looking at approaching 2017 very differently.
Differently means I have two minds. Either I stop doing everything or I do it very intensely.
And knowing you will do it intensely.
I don't know.
When it comes to New Year resolutions, you've always said that, look, I don't believe in them because I end up breaking in them. But that was the comment in 2010. This is 2017. I'm sure you're thinking differently.
No, what I'm thinking is that I want to be a better, I'm 57. I want to seek happiness. And when I think how will I seek happiness? I think to be happy in life, what I'm realizing more and more, is to be content and patient. To be happy with what you have and be patient with others. And even if you don't like something that somebody does to you, keep quiet, bear it. Don't react violently. So in my quest to seek, because materially God has given me far more than I need. Right? So what is it that can make me happy? So I think if I'm contented and I'm tolerant, I shall be happy. So I think I was praying to God, God give me contentness and give me tolerance. And that will be the source of happiness. Material wealth you've already given me.
So what is the measure of success in Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's life? You once said that, it is the means which are important, not the destination.
For me, the means are absolutely important. I am never going to vary my means to achieve aims, right? And I always want, by God's grace, to have my head held high. And what means I should use, I judge. I am not concerned about anybody. I am not afraid of anybody.
Okay, I'll sound repetitive with my last question because it is very, very important for every Indian saver. You are of the view that one should not panic and the long-term bull market story in India is intact irrespective of Brexit, Trump or demonetization.
I'll just tell you one thing, that India has raised its level of growth in each decade since independence.
Okay.
What is ensuring India's growth is the Indian people and the system. Right? Every system has to go through an evolution. So you see me, I am in the stock market, I am bullish. That bullishness has helped me.
Okay.
Right? God would not have given me so much material wealth if I was not bullish. So therefore it's not a question of opinion, there is empirical evidence that equity has given the best return primarily because of economic growth. And India is today a very well regulated market. And there is, so much of money still to come. Right? So I feel, it's not an opinion, it's empirical evidence.
So we should start the new year on a high note, stay positive, stay calm. That would be a message to our viewers.
Absolutely.
Mr. Jhunjhunwala, let me assure you that for millions of our viewers and for billions of investors to start the year with seeking advice from you and positive advice from you, it's a dream come true. So thank you for joining us on the first day of this new year. Wish you and your family a wonderful 2017.
Same to you.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.